kick the field goal. It'll be Jason Gingell out of the hole to Mesko. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is blocked. Appalachian State has stunned the college football world. One of the greatest upsets in sports history.
The upset rules over the sports world. Whether it be football, baseball, basketball, or hockey, there are always games where the underdog team pulls off the improbable. When it happens, we're often at a loss, mentally and sometimes financially too. Why do upsets happen so much? Or do they? What makes us so unprepared for when they do happen? It turns out that many of these questions can be answered with statistical concepts we already know. First, availability. We think upsets happen more because the human brain remembers high emotion, surprising events better. Every time a team scores an upset, that event is embedded in our memory. We often forget, however, the numerous times things have gone according to or even better than our expectations. When number 16 UMBC beat number 1 Virginia this March, it was a historical win. However, it doesn't change the fact that 16 seeds have lost the other 135 games they have played against the top seeds. The news media amplifies availability with its coverage. Upsets receive more media coverage and bigger headlines, forming a sort of hockey stick graph. In these three headlines, for example, a loss is characterized as a shock, but a close win is considered a classic, and a big win is simply considered taking care of business. In this way, the media builds up a narrative that a perceived good team is never supposed to lose, while generating massive amounts of hype when the loss does happen, leaving the public more likely to be disappointed. Second, regression to the mean. Sometimes what we think is an upset was actually a relatively likely event. We tend to judge teams by their win-loss records, but those records could be because of chance rather than skill. For example, a team with a 50% chance of winning each game has a chance of being undefeated, but it also has an equal chance of being winless. For this reason, it's better to look at advanced numbers such as point margin or efficiency ratings to have a better idea of how good a team really is. This way, we can flag the teams that are winning nail-biters, discover the teams that are underperforming their potential, and identify the teams that are truly outplaying their opposition. Third, expert panels. Misinterpretation of expert panels can play a huge role in underestimating the odds of an upset. In these three college football upsets that happened this season, LSU over Georgia, Iowa State over West Virginia, and Oklahoma State over Texas, the Espn panel voted 15-2, 16-1, and 14-3 for the favorite. In reality, 538 gave each favorite a 72.7%, 64.5%, and 47% chance of winning each game. Other than the third panel vote, which just looks like an outright error, the first two near-unanimous panel votes seem to greatly overrepresent 538's probability model. It's important to understand that the result of a panel vote more closely represents who each panelist thinks is the favorite than what the entire panel thinks about the game on average. Essentially, expert panels work like the Electoral College, where only the dominant opinion of each panelist is shown. Because only correct predictions are tabulated, a panelist is rewarded for picking the right winner, but gets almost nothing even if the score was close. Therefore, expected value always gives panelists greater incentive to pick the team that they think is more likely to win. In other words, they will never pick an upset unless they believe in an entire model that deviates so much from everyone else that the upset probability is now greater than 50%. Right now, most panel results are densely concentrated around consensus votes, making it difficult to interpret. Making the panels less lopsided and spreading out the results over a greater range would help reduce the confusion. A simple solution would be to introduce an odds-based payout. We would tabulate an expert based on a points score instead of just base accuracy. This means that we would put a higher price on picking a more likely outcome, shifting the incentive towards picking an upset. A further solution could be to reward more points for being closer to the final score, which helps smooth out the risks of picking the underdog. In conclusion, upsets happen more than we expect because our memory is biased towards them, we misjudge the quality of teams, and we misinterpret the results of an expert panels. Using statistics, we can better align our expectations with reality and avoid surprises.